Hey guys, it's MugenLord, and beside me I have my brothers.
Straight. Kill Lancer.
And you know, E3 is finally done. It finally wrapped everything up, and right now we just decided to do a video about each of the conferences. We'll start off with the Xbox One. So, Strike, what do you think about the Xbox One conference?
I think Xbox One conference was pretty okay. So far, I did like the indie games, but you know, I didn't really care about those, even though they were good. But I was shocked at Crackdown. I wasn't expecting them to do a remake of that or anything of that. But so far, I did like it. It was shocking in some aspects, but yeah.
Well, the games that I pretty much enjoyed seeing was Forza. Forza usually is like one of those games you get for your Xbox, each Xbox and whatnot. But for this particular Forza, it's open world. It reminds me of Burnout Paradise. That was a good game right there. Also, I enjoyed the game Evolve due to it's a 5-player and you have like about 4 class systems. I mean 4 class, players pretty much.
Now that's the thing that I noticed about what Microsoft did as far as there was a lot of multiplayer games that were shown and a lot of co-op play that was shown from the Microsoft conference. Like back at the Evolve, that game I was totally impressed with. It was a 5-player. We started to see a lot of multiplayer games with odd numbers of players and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much a 5-player where you have 4. Yeah, the 4 players are pretty much like, I guess you could say like hunters, you know?
Yeah. And
they're being dropped into like this arena, and like the 5th player is pretty much a monster. They start at like a primitive stage, and the goal is the monster. You have to pretty much capture or kill the monster before the monster evolves. That's why the title's called Evolve. So
worse than the title.
Exactly. And the monster pretty much, you have to go around attacking the 4 other players, but at the same time you eat other monsters that's in the arena so you can grow and evolve and stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And another thing that I noticed with Microsoft, they did something that was way different than last E3. Last E3, they was trying to shove the Kinect down everyone's throats, trying to get everyone to purchase or to get into the Kinect, and no one really wants it. So they did something different this time around. They wanted to appease the gamers, and what they did was they came straight out the door. Phil Spencer came straight out the door and said, we're about games, and that's what we're going to show. It's nothing but games.
Straight to the point. I liked that. It was different.
Yeah.
They learned from their mistakes last year.
And another thing, the Assassin's Creed, I thought that was pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
Now that core focus of that game is multiplayer. And I don't know about those other Assassin's Creed games. I'm not even sure if you should call them multiplayer because they didn't seem to really focus on it. It was more so like let's tag each other type of game. Let's get to the kill.
Those other Assassin's Creed where their multiplayer is just throwing in there for something. You just do something basically, for something to do. But this one, story mode and everything is multiplayer. I liked that it was different. I'm an Assassin's Creed fan, period. So no matter what they do with it, I'm gonna get it. But this one, I really want to get it.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. Me, I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy. I never played any of them, but my brothers and them played, especially Strike. Big fan of it. I used to watch them play it, but I could never really get into them. But this one, I'm impressed with. I'm a co-op guy. I love games where I can play with my brothers and everything. So look at that co-op, and not just that, I was impressed at how many non-playable characters were on the screen at one time when doing this whole revolution thing and everything. So I can't wait to see what else they want to have to offer with this game. So I would love to follow that and see where else they take this.
The visuals were amazing, like the way you can, basically, get around the city and stuff like that. The character was more flexible, less stiff, and everything. It was beautiful.
Another game that they mentioned, Phantom Dust.
Phantom Dust.
Yeah, that's that. It was on the original Xbox.
I've seen the game actually. Our cousin had brought the game over to one of our events, game night, and the game. Basically, it's like you got like a hub city pretty much. You talk to other characters and you take on missions in certain areas. But I hope for this next Phantom Dust that they actually take it a step farther where I can travel to different places and don't make it too much arcade based. But it seems interesting.
I don't know what to think because I really didn't see the game.
Some from what I was reading online had pretty much a cult following. but I really don't know much about the game. When Kevin Lobb got on stage, the guy behind Killer Instincts, I kind of felt like I was being trolled because he got on stage and played the Killer Instincts theme, and I was like, oh man, season 2
even
Killer
showed
Instincts.
the logo in the back.
Yeah,
I was all hype with
Yes, season 2, here he come, and then next thing you know, he's talking about Phantom Dust, and I was like, oh, okay, I've never heard of this game, but some people were quite excited, but I know nothing of the game, so I guess we have to wait and see what they do with Phantom Dust.
Yeah.
But besides that, we have the Fable Legends, which to me, I think I think it's interesting. It's not exactly Fable because
Well, what I think is, this is just like one of those side stories that's in the Fable world, but it's not necessarily Fable 4. I think eventually they will do a Fable 4, but this is just something to hold people along.
I was excited at the game mechanics. You have a tank, you have a damage dealer, you have a mage, and you have I think like a lead type of character, and then you have the game master.
It's a different approach on the Fable period.
Exactly, another five player game, and pretty much the 5th player acts as the villain, the dungeon master can set traps and set obstacles and monsters, and the other 4 players paths, and they have to fight their way through the dungeons. From what I heard, each dungeon has 30-minute sessions to it and stuff. But overall, I thought that was interesting. But as far as Xbox One in general, about the E3 experience, I didn't think they did too bad of a job at all. I was pretty impressed with some of the exclusives, and even though they didn't really have much exclusives, but they had something that was interesting, especially the game Inside.
Indie game.
Yeah. I was definitely
the side-scrolling game.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see more of that. But overall, I think Microsoft showed improved because they had a lot to prove because one with the whole price thing compared to the PS4 and stuff like that.
And they had to make up for last year.
Yeah. So overall, to me, I would give Microsoft. I'll give them like an A-.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah, I'll give them an A-.
I want that.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up our impressions or our opinions about the Xbox, Xbox One conference, and stay tuned for our other 2 conferences from Sony and Nintendo. This is MugenLord.
Yeah, straight.
Kill answer.
Silent on.